Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Jason sent me a note, and I bet more people will send this to me too. I got this just a moment ago. Metro Atlanta woman charged more than $7,000 for sandwich, says she can't get her money back. Now, it's a Subway sandwich. And Subway, as you'll recall, is in the news because there's all kinds of arguments about whether or not a foot-long Subway was actually 12 inches long, whether the, tuna sandwich included tuna, things of that nature. But here, it's not so much what was in the sandwich, but what she was charged for the sandwich. And I can't imagine that there's any place on earth that actually charges $7,000 for a sandwich. There could be, I suppose. Someone's going to say, Steve, I know of a restaurant in Paris. They charge $7,000 for a sandwich. It's probably only worth $6,000, but it's a good sandwich. But a Subway sandwich ain't worth $7,000, okay? So WSB TV did the story, and they tell a story from College Park, Georgia. More than $7,000 for Subway Italian sub. So it was an Italian sub. That's what a Metro Atlanta woman discovered charged to her credit card bill after ordering her number 4 from a College Park Subway. So she ordered the number 4, and then she winds up with a bill for $7,000. She said, I could have gone to Italy and got the sandwich for that kind of money, apparently. She's talking to Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray. She said at the end of every week, she checks her credit card statements, and that's when she noticed the charge for $7,112.98. She said, I know exactly what it normally costs. It's $7.54. So the weird part is that it's not even a variation on the actual price, but she did figure this out, for which I give her credit. So it was supposed to be $7.54. It was $7,112.98. And she said, I was like, oh my God, how did this happen? She then noticed that the number on the tip line matched several digits of her telephone number. And so she now believes the screen changed to the tip screen when she was trying to enter her phone number to collect her Subway rewards points. And so I don't eat at Subway that often. I don't have Subway rewards points, but apparently if you have them, it's kind of like when Elaine Bennis wanted to get that free sub, and she had that card with all those holes punched in it. Apparently, you get some kind of rewards for how often you eat at Subway. So she's saying that she thinks it changed screens while she was doing something, and I must have been keying it in the pad, and the screen changed. So now here's the thing. She thought it would be a simple fix, but for nearly a month, she's been trying unsuccessfully to get the charge reversed. So she said the Subway store manager repeatedly refused to discuss it with her, and she received a denial letter when she disputed the charge with her credit card company. So first she goes to the merchant and goes, hey, I got charged $7,000 for a sandwich. She says they wouldn't talk to her. So it must be that they thought, hey, we just got a $7,000 tip, $7,100 tip on a sandwich, and we're going to keep it. Person changed their mind after they tipped us $7,000. So this is unbelievable because I feel like everyone that sees it has to know that it's a mistake. This is a woman speaking. I've worked in retail before. I know how we tally up at the end of the night. Now, her credit card was issued through Bank of America. And the TV station apparently got involved here, spoke to them, and they now say that they have reached out to the Subway franchise and its corporate offices, keeping in mind that Subway is a franchise. So the Subway store is a franchise, owned and operated separately from the main corporation. And so you can complain to corporate, but they're simply going to have to go, well, either they're going to lean on the franchise or they're going to say, you got to go deal with the franchise. So Bank of America said they reached out to the Subway franchise and its corporate offices. And then after tagging Subway on social media about the story Monday evening, Subway responded to the TV station's multiple requests for comment and said that they were aware that the woman disputed the charge and that Bank of America had requested a charge back. Subway now says it's in the middle of processing the charge back. So the timeline is this. She goes in, she gets her sandwich. She checks her statement at the end of the week. She got charged $7,000 for the sandwich. So she calls the Subway up. She says they won't talk to her. She then calls her bank, the people who issue the credit card, and they go, nothing we can do for you. And it's unclear why they would say that unless some time had elapsed, too much time. But she then contacts a TV station, WSB, where Justin Gray works. And Justin Gray does the story and tags the Subway store with the story on social media. And suddenly they want to fix this. And so it's interesting because, and I'm always leery about talking about this stuff, is that for years, I knew a woman who was the consumer reporter at WDIV Channel 4, NBC in Detroit. And she would routinely call me and say, hey, Steve, I've got a problem with, one of our viewers has this problem. It's a consumer issue. Can you explain it to me? And if I did a good job explaining it to her, she'd go, do you want to come on camera and do this? Sure, I'd love to. Point a camera at me and let me go. And so I appeared on her show many times. And back in the old days. And so the funny part is that people would call my office with a problem, quite often a lemon law problem. And they go, Steve, I've got a defective car. I'm really, really angry. The dealership won't help me. And I'd say, okay, well, it's a lemon law case. I can take care of this for you. And they go, how long that's going to take? I say, well, it's going to take a while because, this manufacturer has no pre-litigation program. We're to file a lawsuit, they're going to file an answer, and negotiate, then I'll get you a buyback, but it'll be like, 3-4 months. And I actually had people say, Steve, I haven't got that kind of time. I'm going to call the TV station. I'm going to call the newspaper. I'm going to call, and I would try to explain to people as nicely as I could. You understand that the TV station doing your story might help you. But the TV station normally only gets involved when stories are news. And a defective car being sold to a consumer in the state of Michigan isn't news. If it was, every single case that went through my office would be news. And it's not. And so when the woman goes into the Subway sandwich shop and is charged $7,000 for a sandwich and they won't refund her money, that's news. That's news. Now, if she had gone in there and they charged her $70 but gave her money back a week later, that wouldn't be news. Somebody go, oh, okay, well, she got her money back, whatever. And so to make it news, it's got to be unusual. It helps if it's egregious, and it also helps if it's the kind of thing that people can learn from. So you might ask, what can you learn from this? Well, I suspect that at the moment of purchase, they probably do hand you a little piece of paper. It's got some numbers on it saying, here's what you were just charged. And you should glance at that to see if it comports with what you think you should have been charged. Because she says that she knows it's $7.54. And so if she's handed a thing saying you just got charged $7,112, she could have started complaining then and there. That would have helped, so she can learn from this. We can all learn from this, okay? But getting back to the thing about the news, I've now done just this year probably a couple dozen stories where somebody got a bad situation like this, got nowhere with the merchant, got nowhere with their bank, and then a TV station gets involved, and all of a sudden, boom, stuff happens. And every time I do a story like this, I know it's going to inspire more people to say, hey, Steve, I don't need a lawyer. I just need a TV station. Well, guess what happens to most of the people who tell me they're going to call the TV station? About 2 days later, they call me back and they go, okay, how long is it going to take? Because I need you to file that lawsuit now. And I'll say, oh, okay, what happened? I'm just curious, what happened between 2 days ago and today? And they go, well, I called every TV station and every single newspaper, and they all said this wasn't a story. And then I try to tell them, I say, look, it's no knock on you. It's obviously a very, very important story to you, but it's not news. And I'm going to tell you right now, my friend's name is Ruth Spencer. And Ruth Spencer was the reporter at Channel 4, consumer reporter. And I can tell you that I was talking to her one day, and I told her some of this thought process of mine. How many people tell me that they are not going to hire me until they've gone to the TV station first? And she said, oh, you have no idea. She goes that she had somebody, an assistant producer, whose job it was to go through and look at all the voicemails and the emails and the messages and whatever it was that she got from people calling her for help. And she goes, the number of calls I get involving, I just bought a defective car and I want you to help me. She goes, that by definition is not news. It's not. She goes, because I look at how many calls I get, It's happening across the board 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365.25 days a year. And she says it's not news by definition. She's once in a while a story jumps out and it's like, whoa, look what happened here. So yeah, the $7,000 Subway sandwich, that's a news story. The amazing part is that they wouldn't correct it for her. That's the amazing part, and that's what makes it such a big story. So I got to salute Justin Gray there, Channel 2 consumer investigator, because I've seen several now that he got involved in, and boom, the story gets straightened out. Funny how that works. Jason sent it, thanks a lot, from WSBTV.com. Metro Atlanta woman charged more than $7,000 for Subway sandwich, says she can't get her money back. But it's got a happy ending because it appears that she's going to get her money back. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. I have a new philosophy. I'm only going to dread one day at a time.